Hello, everyone. We are back for a second session today on this 11th of March, 2023. I'm joined here with Michael over Skype again, and we have session 107 in the Science is the New Religion script that Michael has put together exclusively for us English listeners. So welcome, Michael.
Welcome, Brett. Yeah, so this is the last session, I hope, on that subject about the giants, where I will present all my conclusions. I'm sorry that it maybe looks a little bit confused, but let's start. Part 3, the origin of all the stuff which is happening today is, of course, the Bible. If you really understand Genesis 6:4, that the corruption of flesh was the cause of the big flood, then it will be as in the days of Noah, so the flesh will be corrupted by the use of pharmakeia, of course, the serpent science of their so-called medicine, Aesculapius and all that stuff, so the origin. In my humble opinion, it goes back also for the world who does not believe in the Bible to the Greek mythology. Welcome to Prometheus. In Greek mythology, Prometheus is a titan god of fire. Prometheus is best known for defying the gods by stealing fire from them and giving it to humanity in the form of technology and knowledge, and more generally, civilization. You see, fire can also mean knowledge. In some versions of the myth, he is also credited with the creation of humanity from clay. Aha, where do we know that from? Prometheus is known for his intelligence and for being a champion of mankind, and also generally seen as the author of the human arts and sciences. So if there will be a depiction of a mythical figure of science, Brett, it could be Prometheus. He is sometimes presented as the father of Deucalion, the hero of the flood story. You see, this is all, of course, BS and untrue, but it is just a depiction of Satan. The punishment of Prometheus as a consequence of the theft of fire. No, we will do an insert here. Where was that website?
Michael, can I just ask, was this Greek mythology?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So as the originator of mankind, you see, there are certain secret societies who are claiming there would be a great architect of the universe. It is as a designation. It is used within Freemasonry to represent a deity neutrally, in whatever form, also a Rosicrucian conception of God, and la 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 la. And this comes to the Masonic abbreviation of the great architect of the universe. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean the great architect of Catholicism?
Yeah, you bet. You bet. You bet. In Gnosticism, the concept of the great architect of the universe occurs. The demiurge is the great architect of the universe, the God of Old Testament. That's a lie. In opposition.
Yeah, that's a big lie.
Yeah, I can highlight it here on Wikipedia. In opposition to Christ and Sophia, so you see that Sophia means wisdom in Greek, messengers of gnosis of the true God. Now, what do they know? For example, Gnostics such as the Nazorians believe the Pira Rabba is the source and container of all things, which is filled by the Mana Rabba, the great spirit. Yeah, so spirit and matter. Yeah, so the demiurge. Yeah, the demiurge. In, of course, Platonic, is a figure responsible for fashioning and maintaining the physical universe. Demiurge means craftsman or producer. And we will not go into so much things, but Demiurge usually depicts of somebody who has not got it right in the first place. So also often Demiurge has been portrayed as the one who did it not completely, so it had to be redone. But we know this is all mysticism. Let's get back to the script. The punishment of Prometheus as a consequence of the theft of fire, or knowledge, and giving it to humans. Yeah, where do we know that from, that concept? He shall be as gods. is a popular subject of both ancient and modern culture. Zeus, king of the Olympian gods, sentenced Prometheus to eternal torment for his transgression. Prometheus was bound to a rock, and an eagle, the emblem of Zeus, was sent to eat his liver. Zeus. Aha. The eagle is the emblem of Zeus. This is the German Bundestag. So that's the Parliament of Germany. What do we know here? What do we see here? We see a Roman eagle. Oh, they have also the eagle in the Romans. So they took it over from Greek, it seems, Brad.
That's right.
And also the Third Reich, they had an eagle here with the sun symbol, or the Aryan symbol of the sun, or the black sun, the swastika, which is also fortune symbol in Asia. Yeah, and so with sun rays, It doesn't look at sun rays. Oh, there is a military order who also using sun rays in its emblem.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and also that German...
it's like a monstrance, Michael.
It's like a monstrance, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And these are monsters.
Certainly.
Swearing the Roman salute.
Well, and the thing is, nothing's changed. It's the same thing in the States. It's
the
States now.
Yeah. And this was happening in Berlin. Yeah?
Yeah.
In Berlin also was the capital city of Germany in the Third Reich, and Berlin happened to become again the capital city of the so-called United Germany, again, up to this very day. And our Chancellor, Merkel, who is not Chancellor anymore, but she was it for 16 years, I guess, she swore her oath on November the 22nd, Brad. Yeah. So that is
interesting date, yeah.
Also
the
pagan
33.
date. Yes, it's a pagan date. Yeah. Yeah.
11th month, 22nd day, 33.
Yeah, not only Freemason, but also a significant date when it comes down to astrology. That's the transfer from Scorpio to Sagittarius. And so this is also then the Golden Gate, and it has so many meanings. It's very interesting that they chose this day. In another myth, Prometheus established a form of animal sacrifice practiced in ancient Greek religion. In the Western classical tradition, Prometheus became a figure who represented the human striving, particularly the quest for scientific knowledge, and the risk of overreaching or unintended consequences. The etymology of the theonym Prometheus is debated. Usually it means forethought, and that of his brother Epimetheus, afterthought. Okay, and also here it's been stated here, he was regarded in the Romantic era as embodying the lone genius whose effort to improve human existence could also result in tragedy. Mary Shelley, for instance, gave the modern Prometheus as the subtitle to her novel Frankenstein. We will later see much things of this. The oldest record of Prometheus is in Hesiod, but stories of theft of fire by a trickster figure are widespread around the world. Some other aspects of the story resemble the Sumerian myth of Enki or Ea in later Babylonian mythology, who was also a bringer of civilization who protected humanity against the other gods, including during the Great Flood. Sure. As well as crafted men from clay. So these are counterfeit religions. The first record account of the Prometheus myth appeared in the late 8th century before Christ, Greek epic poet Hesiod's Theogony. In that account, Prometheus was a son of the Titan Lapithus by Clymene or Asia, one of the Oceanids. He was brother to also Atlas. Yeah, you see where all the names are coming from: Ocean and Atlantic Ocean. It's all deriving from Greek mythology. In Hesiod Theogony introduces Prometheus as a lowly challenger to Zeus' omniscience and omnipotence. Yeah? That's why you also find Atlas on Atlas Shrugged, that extremely interesting novel, but that's not part of that depiction.
Wait a second. Who are they saying is omnipotent here?
Zeus.
Oh, Zeus.
Yeah.
I thought that was our friend's cat. Just kidding.
Yeah, there's one person today who claims to be omnipotent, important when it
Yeah,
comes down to
right.
orders. That's the Pope. And
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, that's right. I mean, this is mysticism. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure. Prometheus stole fire back from Zeus in a furnace talk and restored it to humanity. This further enraged Zeus, who sent the first woman to live with humanity, Pandora. Oh, you don't have to believe it, because it actually did not happen. But people who do not want to believe in an almighty God and his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, they need a counterfeit religion, because you need something to believe in. Even if you believe in yourself being God, but you have to believe in something. Hesiod also adds more information to Theogony stories of the first woman, a maiden crafted from earth and water by Hephaestos, now explicitly called Pandora, so that means all gifts, or actually that means Eve. Zeus in this case gets the help of Athena, hence the capital city of Greece, Aphrodite, Hermes, means the sorcerer, the Graces, and the Hours. After Prometheus steals the fire, Zeus sends Pandora in retaliation. Despite Prometheus' warning, Epimetheus accepts this gift from the gods. Pandora carried a jar with her from which were released mischief and sorrow, plague and diseases. Oh yeah, that's a very recent thing today, plague and diseases. Pandora shuts the lid of the jar too late to contain all the evil plights that escape, but Hope is left trapped in the jar because Zeus forces Pandora to seal it up before Hope can escape. And that is hilarious, but it's untrue. The Lost Titanomachy. The Titanomachy is a lost epic of the cosmological struggle between the Greek gods and their parents, the Titans, and is probably source of the Prometheus myth. Aha! Aha! Where do we know Titanomachy from? The source of the Prometheus myth? Huh?
Oh, Pergamum, huh?
Pergamon, yes. The relief on that Pergamon altar. This time without blood. Huh? It's a museum.
Right.
And therefore
they cleaned it up and made it well for the masses, yes.
Yeah, and therefore you see that my conclusion was right from the start. I said it has something to do with first we take Manhattan, then we take Berlin. Because we are referring to Berlin once again. Because in Berlin here, that's the official display, on display, is the Pergamon altar and the Pergamon Museum in Berlin, where they have their relics of the Titanomachy, where it has been the supposed origin of the Prometheus story, who stole the fire from the gods to give science and knowledge to the people. And are you really surprised that Berlin also is the city where Fritz Lang then in 1929 directed and displayed his movie Metropolis? With that transhumanoid robot called Maria, or Mariah. And now you see that slowly, the puzzle is coming a bit together. At least that's what I hope. After the gods, that is mythology here. After the gods have molded men and other living creatures with a mixture of clay and fire, the two brothers Epimetheus and Prometheus are called to complete the task and distribute among the newly born creatures all sorts of natural qualities. Haha. The ancients by way of play to believe that the name Prometheus derived from the Greek prefix pro, means before, and mantano means intelligence, and the agent's suffix eos means forethinker, and then you got it. You see, that has something to do with intelligence. Now this is a relief here, creation of humanity by Prometheus. So if somebody is not in the real Christian belief and believes all the stuff from the Greek mythology, then he sees Prometheus as the creator of humanity and of the one who is supplying knowledge for mankind coming from the gods. Yeah, you see that especially in medicine, the people or the doctors has been seen and been labeled as demigods. Aha! The imagery of Prometheus and the creation of man used for the purposes of the representation of the creation of Adam in biblical symbolism is also a recurrent theme in the artistic expression of late Roman antiquity. Yeah, sure, Brad, they have taken over all the mythology of the Greek.
Of course, yep.
In the often cited and highly publicized interview between Joseph Campbell and Bill Moyers on public television, the author of The Hero with a Thousand Faces presented his view on the comparison of Prometheus and Jesus. Moyers asked Campbell the question in the following words, quote, "In this sense, unlike heroes such as Prometheus or Jesus, we are not going on our journey to save the world, but to save ourselves," unquote. You see where the problem is here? Mixing the holy with the profane.
Yeah, I'd say.
In his book written in 1476 called Quaestiones Quinque de Mente, Ficino indicates his preference for reading the Prometheus myth as an image of the human soul seeking to obtain supreme truth, which is nothing else but "ye shall be as gods." Writing in the late British Renaissance, William Shakespeare uses the Promethean allusion in the famous death scene of Desdemona in his tragedy of Othello. Othello, in contemplating the death of Desdemona, asserts plainly that he cannot restore the Promethean heat to her body. Prometheus' fire is to the association of the gift of fire to the mythological gift or theological gift of life to humans.
The theological gift of life? Oh, man. What a mess.
Yeah.
You may as well just say the philosophical gift of life, Michael. Jeez.
Yeah. In Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein is subtitled "The Modern Prometheus" in reference to the novel's theme of the overreaching of modern humanity into dangerous areas of knowledge. Hermeticism also, that's of course the belief in Hermes Trismegistus, the sorcerer god who never lived. In Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus, his writings, that's wrong here. That has to mean her writings. He is a she-brat. Along with
Mary
those,
Shelley?
Yes.
Mary Shelley's?
Yes. Yeah, Mary Shelley, yeah. Along with those of Albertus Magnus, a doctor of the Roman Catholic Church, and Paracelsus are listed as influences on a young Victor Frankenstein. Victor also interesting. It's a Roman goddess of victory. Prometheus appears as a character in Mary Shelley's 1833 short story The Mortal Immortal. What's it, the first lie? He shall not surely die. The 1997 novel Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone mentions the collectible card of Agrippa. Agrippa, homunculus, the artificial man. That's why the author of Harry Potter, she advised you to keep calm and keep the secrets. Because the theater play called Harry Potter and the Cursed Child from J.K. Rowling, but I assume that all these youngsters nowadays who are into Harry Potter and trying to summon things up with their wand, I know of many people who are just making small children a gift with Harry Potter stuff from the movies, and they're trying to summon things, and that's not funny. That's absolutely not funny. So I think the cursed child is not in theory, but all these children who are into Harry Potter, these are actually cursed, if you would like to say so, because they are just practicing magic without even knowing it, Brett.
Oh, I know. I'm fully aware of that.
Yeah, so keep the secrets, and then you got something with wings above. Yeah, but what can it be other than the spirit of the fallen ones? And the cursed child could be in a biblical way sense, the children of disobedience.
Right.
So, let me introduce you to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus. Prometheus also is a poem by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. You see, Goethe, the one with Mephistopheles, Goethe's Faust, who a doctor wants to have the benefit of Mephistopheles or of the devil to reach his goals. So, coming back to Frankenstein, coming back explicitly on the husband of Mary Shelley. He is called Percy Shelley. He published a 4-act lyrical drama titled Prometheus Unbound in 1820. So that's 2 years after she has publicized Prometheus, the modern Prometheus of Frankenstein. He had an elopement with Mary Godwin. In May 1814, Shelley began visiting his mentor Godwin almost daily and soon fell in love with Mary, the 16-year-old daughter of Godwin, and the late feminist author Mary Wollstonecraft. Shelley and Mary declared their love for each other during a visit to her mother's grave in the churchyard of St. Pancras Old Church on 26 June. Brett, Can you imagine a better romantic environment than the mother's grave? That's a rhetoric question. Don't you find it very strange that somebody is expressing his love on the grave of his mother?
Yes.
In the graveyard? When then you know that 2 years later she came up with that horror story of Frankenstein, you can smell or sense that there's something up with her or with both of them. When Shelley told Godwin that he intended to leave Harriet and live with Mary, his mentor banished him from the house and forbade Mary from seeing him. Shelley and Mary eloped to Europe on 28 July, taking Mary's stepsister Claire Clermont with them. Before leaving, Shelley had secured a loan of £3,000 but had left most of the funds at the disposal of Godwin and Harriet, who was now pregnant. You can imagine that there was something going on. Shelley, Mary and Claire made their way across war-ravaged France when Shelley wrote to Harriet asking her to meet him in Switzerland with the money he had left for her. Hearing nothing from Harriet in Switzerland and unable to secure sufficient funds on suitable accommodation, the three traveled to Germany and Holland before returning to England on 13 September. Shelley, that's him, spent the next few months trying to raise loans and avoid bailiffs. Mary was pregnant, lonely, depressed and ill. Remember that she was just 16 years old. Her mood was not improved when she heard that on 13 November Harriet had given birth to Charles Bichy Shelley, heir to the Shelley fortune and baronetcy. I said, what? I said, oh, that's an autobiographical story, that Frankenstein, because Frankenstein is also Baron Frankenstein. Yeah, and so that now we read here that Shelley, they were barons. This was followed in early January 1815 by news that Shelley's grandfather, Sir Bichet, had died, leaving an estate worth £220,000. That must be a lot of money. So a baronet, or the female equivalent, a baronetess, is the holder of a baronetcy. A baron means a member of the nobility, a low rank in the peerage. From Old French baron, baron means nobleman or military leader or warrior. So that every time you come across a baron, it means that there is in the ancestry of these barons bred somebody who has fought as a knight, most likely for the Roman Empire, and then had been granted nobility.
I see. Yep. Right.
So these were mercenaries.
Correct. Yeah.
For example, here Falk de Brioté, 1226. He was a foreign mercenary in the service of the English King John Lackland. And then, as favorite of the king, he was becoming a mighty baron. So that is just Falk de Brioté. This family of Shelleys, there must have been some influence of the Catholics, because they bear the title of a baron. And hence the thing of the Baron Frankenstein. So these are excerpts of the book. In February 1815, Mary gave premature birth to a baby girl who died 10 days later, deepening her depression. In the following weeks, Mary became close to Hawke, who temporarily moved into the household. Shelley was almost certainly having a sexual relationship with Claire at this time, and it's possible that Mary, with Shelley's encouragement, was also having a sexual relationship with Hawke. You can look at this. Yeah, it's everywhere a mess. These are not Christian people. On 24 January 1860, Mary gave birth to William Shelley. Shelley was delighted to have another son, but was suffering from the strain of prolonged financial negotiations with his father, etc., etc. Claire, on the other hand, initiated a sexual relationship with Lord Byron, so once again, a baron and a lord, yeah? No ordinary people, in April 1816, just before his self-exile on the continent, and then arranged for Byron to meet Shelley, Mary, and her in Geneva, that's Switzerland, home of the Knights Templars. Shelley admired Byron's poetry and had sent him Queen Mab and other poems. Shelley partly arrived in Geneva in May and rented a house close to Villa Diodati, and that is the place where that novel Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus had been written. That is the Villa Diodati in Switzerland. It is notable because Lord Byron rented it and stayed here with Dr. John Polidori on the summer of 1860, Mary Shelley, Percy Bysshe Shelley, her husband, and Mary's stepsister Claire Clermont, so everybody had sex with everybody, and anybody it seems, who had rented a house nearby were frequent visitors. Because of poor weather in June 1816, the group famously spent 3 days together inside the house creating stories to tell each other, 2 of which were developed into landmark works of the Gothic horror genre. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley and The Vampire, the first modern vampire story by Polidori. Oh, they must have had a hell of a time, I think.
Yeah.
Lord Byron rented the villa from 10th June to 1st November 1860. The scandal of his separation from his wife, Brad, really, rumors of an affair with his half-sister and ever-increasing debt had forced him to leave England, never to return in April of that year. Byron arrived at Lake Geneva in May, where he had met and befriended the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley, who was traveling with his future wife Mary Goodwin, now better known as Mary Shelley. Byron set it as the Villa Diodati, with his personal physician John William Polidori, the one who came up with the vampire story, and Shelley rented a smaller house called Maison Chapuis on the waterfront nearby. The group was also joined by Mary's stepsister Claire Clermont, with whom Byron had an affair in London. Everybody with anybody. Anybody, everybody, I don't know. It's a mess. The weather was unseasonably cold and stormy, and Mary Shelley later described that incessant rain of that wet, ungenial summer. When the rain kept them indoors at the Villa Diodati over 3 days in June, the 5 turning to reading fantastical stories, including Phantasmagoriana, which is a French anthology of German ghost stories, translated anonymously by Jean-Baptiste Benoit Henri in 1812. And then devising their tales. Mary Shelley wrote the first draft of what would become Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. She was just 18 years old at the time. So that's the first draft, what I believe. In 2020, that villa was featured in a BBC science fiction series Doctor Who in an episode titled The Haunting of Villa Diodati. Yeah, that's I told you that's a hell of a place. On the shores of Lake Geneva, where Byron was staying, there Shelley, Byron, and the others engaged in discussions about literature, science, and various philosophical doctrines. One night, while Byron was reciting Coleridge's Christabel, Shelley suffered a severe panic attack with hallucinations. The previous night, Mary had had a more productive vision of nightmare, which inspired her novel Frankenstein, Brad.
Right.
So if you really translate that sentence here, then you know what happened there. But it's up to you, dear listeners, what you make out of it. You see, then somebody has a productive vision of a nightmare and then is panic attack with hallucinations. Not many possibilities left. Yeah, so that means that she was contacted by the evil side. That's the least I would agree upon.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. What do we call that when someone is gone this far into that realm.
It's a possession.
Yeah, it's demonic possession.
It's demonic possession, yes.
In another sense, it's also letting the Spirit use your vessel to produce. What do we call that again now? Not only is it demonic possession, but it's sorcery. Straight up.
Yeah, it's also the other way around here. You see, what happened before was Mary had a productive vision of nightmare about her novel Frankenstein, and then one night later, because it is mixed around here, that's very obvious and very suspicious. And then she suffered a severe panic attack with hallucinations. Yeah, that means that she saw something that other people could not see.
Isn't that interesting? In quotes, various philosophical doctrines, not biblical ones, philosophical ones.
Oh, it's about a stranger, a female stranger, a female character by the name of Christa Bell, and her encounter with a stranger called Geraldine, who claims to have been abducted from her home by a band of rough men. She goes to the woods to pray by the large oak tree. Strange noise. Abducted. Takes her. Supernatural signs. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
My. Okay. So that is my conclusion, that these things that also the scientists and the authors and also get, these inspirations, they are coming from the evil side. That's so obvious in the case of Mary Shelley. When that novel came out in 18, everywhere after 18. And it's quite a young age. And she was depressed and even having a child and various sexual relationships and all this stuff. What do you think that in the kind of mindset she was? So Shelley and Mary Shelley, returned to England in September 1816, and in early October they heard that Mary's half-sister Fanny Imlay had killed herself. So many coincidences there. Further tragedy followed in December when Shelley's estranged wife Harriet drowned herself in the Serpentine. You can't make that up. My. What a mess. What a mess. Shelley's 3-year-old son William, you know that was the son he had together with Mary Shelley, died in June, probably of malaria. The new tragedy caused a further decline in Shelley's health and deepened Mary's depression. Yeah, you can think where her depression actually came from, huh? Depression means possession, sometimes, but it's very likely in this. Not saying that in a general sense of way, but in that case, it is highly likely. Because also you won't find that possession in the universal international medical codes, of course. Yeah, it has to be something out of the Bible. In March, Shelley wrote to friends that Mary was depressed, suicidal, and hostile towards him. Yeah. It's a mess. Mary almost died from a miscarriage on 16 June, her life only being saved by Shelley's effective first aid. And then her husband died when they sailed in Shelley's new boat called the Don Juan. You know what Don Juan means? It means lover. Mary Shelley declared in her note of poems in 1822 that the design of the boat had a defect and that the boat was never seaworthy. Yeah. When Mr. Shelley died, the London newspaper The Courier printed, "Shelley, the writer of some infidel poetry, has been drowned. Now he knows whether there is God or no." So, Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus, written by Mary Shelley when she was 18, 666, was published in 1818. 666, 666, everywhere. My. Yeah, Franz Kafka also wrote a short piece called Prometheus. You know, he was coming out of Prague. According to the first myth, he was clamped to a rock in the Caucasus for betraying the secrets of the gods to men. Yeah, and who wants to have the secrets of the gods? Of course, all our scientists. In that book here of Percy Bysshe Shelley, it's very interesting here. For impugning the divinity of Jesus Christ, I impugn it. For denying that the whole Mass, impugn, what means impugn? Deny?
I don't know. What's the word? Oh, impunging.
Impunging, okay.
Good question. I'm not sure, actually. We'd have to look it up.
Anfechten. Okay. That means you not deny, but you question it, to question it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, to have doubt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's most likely you see that lifestyle with several lovers and all the tragedies around, and being busy with horror stories and all that stuff. But it's Mr. Carlyle. Okay. I made it wrong here. So her husband means that in his preface, Shelley also rejected Milton's Satan from Paradise Lost in favor of the more poetical Prometheus, because Satan had taints of ambition, envy, revenge, and a desire for personal aggrandizement. Moreover, those with religious feelings render Satan into something worse. That's all nice.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, can you imagine what kind of people these were? Who would come up with that idea? Also, who would come up with that idea? Yeah.
Well, it's pretty obvious. Someone that's under the influence of mythology, Michael.
Yes, and under the influence maybe of alcoholism or drugs or of the at least of evil spirits.
All the above, yeah.
All the above.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Yeah. So it's a satanic agenda once again, because you see that Prometheus is another name for Lucifer - Satan. It's nothing else. He never existed. Yeah. So I think that Carrie Madej once again is spot on when she said that the liberals have a satanic agenda, but not only liberals, but the vast majority of people.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, yeah, because we're going right back to the Jesuitical form of education, aren't we? I mean, that's what's running the world.
Yeah.
Why are those surprised that Jesuitism is such an evil thing? It's so large now.
Yeah. What's the sense of the fourth O of the Jesuits with the poison cup when all the pupils are getting their poison cup in the school system?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And what Frankenstein is a depiction of a brain of a dead one mixed together with the body of another person and then being electrified and then being resurrected or being put into life by what else? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you see that if you mix two things together, what is it other than a hybrid? And I looked it up what a hybrid is. A hybrid means the offspring of plants or animals of different variety of species. A rare word before the general sense, anything a product of two heterogeneous things, emerge 1850. I said, okay, hybrid from hybris. Hybris, a back formation from hubristic or else from Greek, hybris, wanton, violence, insolence, outrage, originally presumption towards the gods. There you got it.
Presumption towards we could say it in other words, the pantheon.
Yeah, pagan. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Spelling hybris is more classically correct and began to appear in English in translations of Nietzsche. You see the Übermensch, the Superman. It's also kind of Prometheus. Yeah, because Prometheus has to give you the knowledge when you don't believe in God, as Nietzsche. Yeah, you do have a counterfeit. You do have anything else to support your ideas, and he was getting crazy. He was going nuts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so therefore it is absolutely certain, in my humble opinion, that he was under the influence of evil spirits as well, Mr. Nietzsche, who said God is dead. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you can't imagine what they are going up to. They are going up to destroy the creation of God, and they're coming up, in my humble opinion, with a counterfeit creation, so the creation of Satan. That means an internet of things which is not for real, and that means the corruption of the body of Christ, meaning the body and the mind of people. Yeah,
it's entirely virtual.
It's entirely virtual, yes. It's a different reality, and that's hell on earth, actually.
Right.
Yeah, that's hell on earth. Yeah. I don't care if you come up with the police state, you see, but the police is just only ensuring that the laws, they will be held, and they are not the people who are making the rules and the laws. Yeah, so it's not the police to blame. Yeah, that's just too short of a thinking. Yeah, it is just all these people who are putting fears into the people, and that they just have to control the masses, the herd, with fear. Yeah, if there is an outbreak of a disease, if there is a climate change, if there is this, if there is a pollution, if there is that, it's just to fear the people. And so therefore you see that you will be bombarded with false science all day long. Yeah, and that's also my problem. You see that these featured people today, they all want on the outside, on the exoteric, to serve the people, to protect them, to care for the people. And I got a very small interview here, which I will insert in that the point here, of that strange guy called Yuval Noah Harari. He is a Jewish history professor, and he says, we are really upgrading humans to God. Yeah, he shall be as gods.
Also, supposedly, Michael, as far as I know, one of the right-hand men of this character that runs the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, Klaus Schwab.
Klaus Schwab.
Yeah, they're all sitting in the same boat, and it's not Noah's Ark. Huh? He says, yeah, we are upgrading man to gods. Yeah, like Superman.
Or rather, we are corrupting man to Satan.
Yes, that's short to.
That's what he really means. Yes.
That's in that short 2-minute clip that I had presented on my German to my German audience a fortnight ago or so. He says all that stories about Jesus, that Son of God has been resurrected and all that stuff, and should be the Son of God, is fake news.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think that when he's coming up with a book called Homo Deus, yeah, so the godly man, Homo Deus, it's a book of Mr. Harari, yeah, Homo Deus, yeah, Homo means man, Deus means God. He shall be as gods. It's so easy if you know the Bible, huh?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so my question is, where do they mock Muhammad or Buddha or the shaman medicine man or Hindu gods and goddesses?
Yes,
yeah?
Yes.
Where do they mock them?
They never do.
Satan is delighted and satisfied as long as you do not worship Jesus Christ as the only begotten Son to God, because all other gods are pagan gods and they do not exist. And so therefore, it's not important for the satanic world if you worship a Hindu goddess or if you worship realism or what else. Yeah, as long as you do not read the Bible and you do not worship or accept Jesus Christ as the only begotten Son of God and the only way and the only truth, the way and the life, no one gets to the Father but by Him.
COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize total biometric surveillance. If we want to stop this epidemic, we need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin. We are really acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods.
I mean, all this story about Jesus rising from the dead and being the Son of God, this is fake news.
Humans are now hackable animals.
So she is absolutely spot on when she says all the politicians, not the liberals alone, yeah, it means all the politicians, they have a satanic agenda. You don't need a whistleblower to see that. You only need the Bible.
Right. Well, someone has to lead the charge, huh? So we're right back to, wasn't it in the book of Luke, Michael, where Satan is tempting Jesus? And
Yeah, it's Luke 4:4.
yeah, Luke 4:4.
Luke 4:4, yes.
You know, so the politicians have to play their part, and if they don't, then they don't get any power, do they? Because
Yes,
all the
but you
power
see that
comes
this is
from
a
the Pope.
distraction in itself, because it's not limited to any liberals or any government. It's just around the world. It's everywhere. Yeah.
Well, right, exactly.
Yeah. So it is transhumanism and human 2.0.
Well, you know, Carrie Madej got pretty close, didn't she?
Yeah, close
Close
enough
enough.
for
Close
plane
enough.
crash. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There
Yeah.
you go. You speak out against the Antichrist in this world, in this realm, and this is what you get.
You see, you have to believe it that she was in a plane crash. You see that you know the forces of evil. They are extremely mighty in this world. So we do not know what happened then. We have to believe it. And the problem is we cannot believe any information has been given to us except the Bible and except the Holy Spirit. So you see that sometimes people were put under pressure, and maybe you see that not in the case of Carrie Madej, but other people, they are disappearing or sitting in jail, although they are not sitting in jail actually. So see that maybe they are sitting in another comfy place, but they're being threatened and blackmailed. And what else? You see that maybe sometimes children will get lost and all that stuff. All the things are happening in this world, and we do not know what the truth is, because you see that everything can be manipulated. Yeah, it's easy to see every alternative news as correct news, but actually you have to prove it, and you can't prove a thing. You have to believe also the alternative media. Yeah, so we do not know what happened. We do not know anything. One is attributed to Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner was a theosophist and was very close to the Theosophical Society. So Annie Besant and Madame Blavatsky, quote unquote, spirits of darkness are going to inspire their human hosts, in whom they will be dreading, to find a peep that will drive out all inclination towards spirituality out of people's souls when they are still very young. What was the age when Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus? She was 16 years old. And you do not need that medication here. This is just for the exoteric people. Yeah, it's also possible that people have been possessed by having nightmares and visions and all that stuff, and being frightened to death so that they can't use their common sense anymore. There are many people out there, Brad, who do not use their common sense because it's been lost.
Oh yeah, well, it's all on purpose. This is what the whole New World Order is all about, is completely educating mankind so that they're not allowed to think critically anymore, right?
Yes, but that quote has been attributed to him 100 years before.
Yes.
Imagine.
Yeah, that's right. So that's right at the beginning of World War I, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or before, after that, because World War I started in what year in Europe? 1914?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
in the States, I think it started in 1917, if I'm
Yes,
not
yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah, this is a German.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. And this is also a 30-year war between 1940 and
Yes.
1945. Yeah, so.
Right.
But this is just a German script here from that book, and this is the same as the V word in English. And he must be an expert. You see that he was giving out, publishing literature called Gnussifer Gnosis.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
don't tell me that he does not know about Prometheus and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So human 2.0 is a normal human melded with artificial intelligence, transhuman. Humans 2.0 are not human anymore and include everyone who receives or received the peep. And now you take that into context from our last episode with the bodybuilders. They also, human growth hormone.
I see.
These V's are not regular V's. These are toxic things, and we do not know what is implemented in this. I estimate that the high amount of things, they have just water or something else in it. So they're just having a gigantic medical experiment running today. Where they absolutely know which batch is causing which kind of problem. And after they have evaluated all the batches and all the tests, then they can see what works the best in their way. And their way is Satan's highway. So it's up to you where you start your own research on that. Also, that is very interesting if it is true. It's about your identity. It's about identity. That's spot on. You see that also, the patroness, the Roman patroness for diseases in general. And what's in Matthew 24? Not pestilences. Is it pestilence, Matthew 24?
Well, maybe we should just quick mention, Michael, that those of you that might be listening and are away from a screen or cannot see the computer screen that we have at the moment, we're not talking about the subject because we would be in jeopardy of receiving a strike if we did. So we would ask that you get to a screen where you can read what's on it, a large one, preferably, because this is a very sensitive topic on the internet at the moment. So we ask for your patience and understanding on this subject, and please investigate this further on your own, and don't take what we tell you as gospel truth. You have to know the truth on your own independently, and we just give you the basics on where to start and where our conclusions come later. But yeah, Michael, I mean, this is where it's at.
Yeah, it's an IQ test. And it's a test of your faith also, huh? It's not only an IQ test. It's not an IQ test. Oh my. All the usual suspects, huh?
Right.
All the usual suspects. My. Yeah, we have to wait and see, but you see that you're on the best side there can be. You're on the side of the truth. You always were the minority. Always. It's always the broad way leading to destruction. It's the Bible telling you this. So this is just copy and paste. Yeah. Back to Harari. He says men are now hackable animals. Yeah. Can't you see the warmth of his message? What a lovely character, huh? Yeah, and this is Pfizer Science will win. Mrs. Ursula von der Leyen, she is the European President of the European Union, so the President of the European Union, coming from Germany. Ursula von der Leyen. Von der Leyen means lesser nobility, of course, huh? Von der Leyen. Oh, once again.
Who's that on the left there? That looks familiar. Looks like
Pfizer, the Pfizer guy, huh?
No, further. Yeah, there's him. But then further. Yes. That looks like Canadian Prime Minister.
Could be. I'm not quite sure, actually. That was also my first guess, but could be.
It looks exactly like him.
But I have some other things coming up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I got it somewhere here, but where? No? So it's on the other. I think that her husband is also working for Merck Pharmaceuticals. I'm 100% sure, but I do not know.
Oh, yeah. Birds of the same feather flock together, don't they?
Yeah. Let me just
Husband
say.
and wife team, yeah?
Yeah, she's a president of the European Union. Yeah, so what does a man do? I'm 100% sure, but if alle... she's the daughter of a former minister president of Lower Saxony. She's been married since '86 with the medicine professor and manager Heiko van der Leyen. Heiko van der Leyen. Okay, what does he do? Since September 2020, Mr. van der Leyen is a medical director of the American biopharmaceutical company Orgenesis, specialized in the development of cell and gene therapy.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, there you got it. What more do you need?
Wasn't it the Bible, Revelation 18, where
Yeah.
it speaks about the merchants of the earth?
Yes. The merchants of the earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that is what transhumanism is actually, to get rid of God's creation.
Right.
Yeah, to start the development of their own creation. Satan cannot create on his own, so he has to use other means. He has to have the consent of people, and billions of people have written their name under a certain document in the last 2 or 3 years, Brad. Signing that they have totally agreement and totally trust in the medicine and the pharmakeia they receive. And they don't have any sense and any trust in an almighty God. That's what your signature means under that document, in my humble opinion. So the homunculus, that's the old alchemist dream of creating, of you having your own creature to play God. If you create something, then you're the creator, Brad. Then you are God. What did the serpent say? Ye shall be as gods. So,
Right.
yeah, once again, the sperm of a man putrefied in a sealed cucurbit for 40 days with the highest degree and in a horse's womb. La 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 la. So creating an homunculus. Yeah, so that was in the 15th, 16th century. He died 1541. That is also close to the Regimini Militatis Ecclesiae.
Man. Paracelsus. Yes.
Yeah. The fable of the alchemistical created homunculus, or the artificial man, may have been central in Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein. Professor Radu Florescu suggests that Johann Conrad Dippel, an alchemist born in Castle Frankenstein, might have been the inspiration for Victor Frankenstein. German playwright Johann Wolfgang von Goethe's Faust Part 2 famously features an alchemical created homunculus. Here, the character of homunculus embodies the quest of a pure spirit to be born into a mortal form, contrasting Faust's desire to shed his mortal body to become pure spirit. The alchemical idea that the soul is not imprisoned in the body, but instead might find its brightest state as it passes through the material plane is central to the character. William Makepeace Thackeray wrote under the pen name of homunculus. Mary Shelley, quote, "It was the secrets of heaven and earth that I desired to learn, and whether it was the outward substance of things or the inner spirit of nature and the mysterious soul of man that occupied me, still my inquiries were directed to the metaphysical or, in its highest sense, the physical secrets of the world." Unquote. Ye shall be as gods. So you can always attribute these two lies of Satan to all the things coming to the nitty-gritty in transhumanism's Human 2.0 Android, artificial intelligence. It's ye shall not surely die, and ye shall be as gods.
Isn't that interesting, that admission she made here? In the latter part of the sentence, it says, still, my inquiries were directed to the metaphysical.
Mm-hmm. And they scare you also with all these baloney things like black holes and
it's just
wormholes and Einstein's BS.
It's garbage.
Yeah? So, Mr. Dippel could be the source for the modern Prometheus or the Frankenstein. He was a German pietist, theologian, physician, alchemist, and occultist. Oh, Brad, save me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems that all the scientists of the Middle Ages, yeah, they all together with physicians and occultists and alchemists. So they cannot study anything to serve man, but they have to study the secrets of the universe. So their secrets. Dippel was born at Castle Frankenstein. What a coincidence. Yeah. So it is likely that he was the role model, and therefore once at his school the addendum Frankensteinensis and once at his university the addendum Frankensteiner Stratomontanus was used. He studied theology, philosophy and alchemy at the University of Gießen, obtaining a master's degree in theology in 1693. That means, Brad, that you could study alchemy in a university. Oh!
Isn't that something?
Yeah? So, you got now here a depiction of a facility in China who is also busy with alchemy and metaphysics.
Man.
Yeah, they see things that you don't see, Brad.
Sure.
And you have to believe it.
Yeah, you have to believe it in order to get your degree, yeah.
Yeah. And it is not proven that these things really exist, because on their own terms they can't prove it. Yeah.
No, but what they can do is come up with this system of control called science.
Yeah,
that's essentially what we have, isn't it?
Yeah, you look this up. I'm not telling you about it. You look it up, and then you know that they can't prove anything. Not on their own terms.
Wow.
Not on their own terms.
Isn't that something?
So you have to read some books. Called, I recommended you that book. So, that Mr. Dippel, he published many theological works under the name of Christianus Democritus, and most of them are still preserved. Why could that be? Around 1700, he turned to Hermetic studies and alchemy as a key to nature. Of course, don't read the Bible at any cost, Brad. Don't read the Bible. Study Hermetic studies and alchemy. He engaged in a bitter dispute, and all that we do not know. Emanuel Swedenborg, the man who said it does not need to pray to Jesus, it's also okay if you pray to another god, was probably both his most notable supporter and later staunch critic. Swedenborg began as a disciple of Dippel, but eventually dismissed him as a most vile devil who attempted wicked things. Yeah, well, what do you expect? He is into occultism and alchemy. Swedenborg clarified that he was at first enamored by Dippel's emotionally charged writings and agreed with his attempts to dissolve traditional churches for a more personal faith and rejection of the Bible of the literal word of God. What else do you know? What else do you need?
Right.
Rejection of the Bible as the literal word of God. Yeah, sure, that's why he studied Hermeticism and occults. And that's why he studied Hermeticism and the occultic writings, or occultism. Yeah, Mr. Dippel. He created an animal oil known as Dippel's oil, which was supposed to be the equivalent to the alchemist's dream of the elixir of life. What is it, the first lie of Satan once again?
Oh, the first lie of Satan was,
come, ye shall not
surely die.
Yeah, the elixir of life.
Yeah, you shall not surely die. Yeah, it's all about death, isn't it?
Yes. At one point, Dippel attempted to purchase cancer Frankenstein in exchange for his elixir formula, which he claimed he had recently discovered. The offer was turned down. Luckily. Yeah, of course, they love this world. You see, all the people in the satanic mindset, they love this existence. They love this world. They want to prolong it at any cost. Because there is nothing else afterwards. Except if you believe in an Asian religion of rebirth and incarnation. According to Stahl, Dippel and the pigment maker Diesbach used potassium carbonate contaminated with this oil in producing red dyes. To their surprise, they obtained a blue pigment called Berliner Blau, also called Prussian blue. So the origin of that deep blue, which I really find a good color, comes from that Mr. Dippel. It's unbelievable. There are claims that during his stay as Cancer Frankenstein, he practiced alchemy and anatomy. Yeah, now you know where the source is from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. He was allegedly working with nitroglycerine, which led to the destruction of a tower at the Castle Frankenstein. But this seems to be a modern myth, for it is anachronism. Nitroglycerine hadn't been discovered in Dippel's time, and although the history of the castle during Dippel's lifetime is well documented, the destruction of a tower is nowhere mentioned. So rumor has it. Other rumors has it that about Dippel to appear in modern inventions too. For example, that which said he performed experiments with cadavers, in which he attempted to transfer the soul of one cadaver into another. Soul transference with cadavers was a common experiment among alchemists at the time. Brett, what could they study at university? Alchemy? What do they study in these universities? Soul transference with cadavers? A common experiment among alchemists at the time? Do I read that correctly?
Yes, you do.
And that was a theory that Dippel supported in his writings, thus making it possible that Dippel pursued similar objectives, but there is no direct evidence to link him to these specific acts. Yeah, sure, you don't write it.
There is no evidence.
You don't read it in newspapers. Yeah. There is also no evidence to the rumor that he was driven out of town when the word of his activities reached the ears of the townspeople, though he was often banned from countries, notably Sweden and Russia, for his controversial theological positions. He also eventually had to flee to Gießen after killing a man in a duel. Oh, great! Then he had a brain, Brett. Oh. Oh, a cadaver. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we are laughing, but you see that these people are absolutely serious. He studied alchemy, Brett.
Yes.
And that is a common experiment, is a soul transfer with cadavers. So what do you need first? A cadaver, huh? And what if you don't find any? You create a cadaver on your own.
There you go.
Dippel did, however, experiment quite frequently with dead animals.
Of course.
If you really think that these people are just only scientists, these people are satanic worshippers. They want to be as gods. They want to be praised as God. Oh, I can create life. I can be as God. Isn't that the same as the situation out there? Yeah, we can prolong your life. You only have to come in and you just take a... And that's it. Yeah, please sign there that everything is okay.
Please sign for your consent, yeah.
Yeah. His father was fourth generation of Dippels to belong to the Lutheran clergy, and it was assumed that young Johann Conrad would follow in his footsteps. Dippel went on to study theology, philosophy, and alchemy at Gießen University. Oh my. His ego and rebellious nature. Oh, where do we know that ego and rebellious nature from the Bible?
Isaiah.
Yes. Yeah.
14 was it?
Yes.
Michael?
Yeah. He
The
was
five
imprisoned
eyes of Lucifer. Yeah.
Yes. At one point, he was imprisoned for heresy for 7 years. Okay, that's not a issue, but a serious interest in alchemy and medicine. Having devoted minimal time to alchemy at Gießen University, he nevertheless lectured on this topic too, again relying on his natural intellect. My. What a kind of a mess here. Yeah. Disillusioned by the religious disputes he provoked in Strasbourg and blamed for killing a man in a duel, Dippel was forced to flee back to Gießen, where he pursued his newfound passion for alchemy. As was his nature, Dippel was confident that he could make gold from lead, and etc. Ah, right. But we know that the main goal of alchemism is to create a homunculus, a creature.
Right.
Yeah. During this time, calling Christ in a different being, Dippel shifted all of his energy exclusively on his alchemical experiments. He set up a laboratory near Wittgenstein, which was eventually converted into a pub named after him, and at this point in his life, historical records are vague on his activities and thus grew folkloric in nature. During this time, at least one local minister apparently accused Dippel of grave robbing, experimenting on cadavers, and keeping company with the devil. For the most part, Dippel kept to himself and his work. He perhaps even actively perpetuated the rumors that he had sold his soul to the devil in exchange for secret knowledge, as relying on his reputation as a dark sorcerer better enabled him to find audiences with those willing to pay for his knowledge of the Philosopher's Stone and the elixir of life. And that is the same situation out there. You can exchange Mr. Dippel with Mr. Fauci. Sold his soul to the devil in exchange for secret knowledge. Or science or knowledge, so called. He died at Castle Wittgenstein, probably from a stroke, although some contemporaries suspected poisoning. A year before his death, he wrote a pamphlet in which he claimed to have discovered an elixir that would keep him alive until the age of 135. And I think that he hasn't read the Bible, Brett. Huh? What was it in Genesis 6? 120 years somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was in Genesis 6. Where is it? Genesis 120 years. Shall we 100? Genesis 6. Yeah, where Genesis 6? Genesis 6:3. I was correct.
Yes.
Genesis 6, not 3. Genesis 6:3. So. Yeah. Yeah. There is it.
And the Lord said, "My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years.
Yes. So, forget it.
Yeah.
Dippel's connection to the Castle Frankenstein gave rise to the theory that he was a model for Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein or the modern Prometheus, although that idea remains controversial. The hypothesis was probably first suggested by Radu Forestko in his book In Search of Frankenstein, 1975, which speculated that Mary Shelley visited the castle during her travels on the Rhine with Percy Shelley, where they might have heard local stories about Dippel, etc., etc. So that's closing the circle here. Several non-fiction books on the life of Mary Shelley also confirm Dippel as a possible influence. In particular, Miranda Seymour finds it curious that Mary speaks of, quote-unquote, gods making entirely new men in her journal so soon after her travels through the regions surrounding Castle Frankenstein. Gods making entirely new men. Could that be an attribution of Genesis 6:4, Brad?
Oh. Well, and then there's also the new man that you become when you accept Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's true. Oh, and Genesis 6:4 reads, yes, because it's right here, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
Yeah, so the mighty men are the new man, they're the better man, the human 2.0.
Oh, I get it. So the counterfeit version, yeah.
The counterfeit version, because it was about the corruption of all flesh. God spoke about the corruption
Yes.
of all flesh. So these mighty men
Yeah,
were the
that's
corruption
right.
of all flesh.
Correct.
And who are the sons of God? I can tell because I'm a Bible-believing Christian and I do not know everything. So, but I knew that there were mentioned the sons of God, so that means that must be some kind of a higher beings. But as Arturo Sosa pointed out, God is a tricky word. Not that the Bible is tricky, but you see the sons of God, among them Satan, has been mentioned in the book of Job, first chapter. Yeah?
That's right.
So that can also mean that Satan himself.
Sure. Fits right in as far as I'm concerned, Michael.
Yeah, if I really compare the Bible, and it's my only source, we not using the book of Enoch, we are not using these apocryphica. Yeah, that's it. The sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. You see, a mortal man cannot present himself before the Lord. And Satan is not mortal man, and Satan came also among them. So that must be happening in heaven. And these sons of God cannot be any human form. How they could achieve to get into multiplying with the daughters of men, don't ask me. I wasn't there. And the Bible does not reveal it. But we have to stay close to the Word of God. And the Word of God tells us that there was a corruption of all flesh. So when it is in the days of Noah, when Jesus Christ will return, there must be a corruption of flesh. And of course, that not only flesh, but also of the minds. Yeah, because you see that is quite clearly here. The daughters of men, they were not only corrupt in the flesh bread, they must only be corrupt in their minds. Otherwise, they would not multiply after their kind, having offspring after their kind, but they would not then be together with the sons of God. Okay? What does that mean when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men? Maybe the daughters of men, they were quite similar to Eve, to the deception of Eve, when they said, oh, if I would be together with the son of God, bred, he shall be as gods. I will have a very special child. I will not have an ordinary child. I will have a very special child. That is so. It's so much in these small verses in the Bible. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. In the 6 weeks of Europe, in page 111, we learn Mary had been introduced to one of Shelley's favorite books, the Abu Baruel memoirs illustrating the history of Jacobinism. I said, no, please, not again.
Oh, Abu Baruel? What?
Yes, you see it.
Seriously?
Yeah. Seriously, yes.
Oh, and okay, for our listeners who don't know who Abu Baruel is, I think we can trace him back to the... what's this called now? The learned elders of Zion, the protocols of the elders of Zion.
Yeah,
right.
It's Jesuit, huh?
Yeah, to the core. To the core.
Yeah.
Agitation on a level of, only heaven knows how high that is. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't tell you.
Yeah. And now,
do your own research, right, Michael?
It can enhance it a bit.
Sure. Yeah.
Would you like to read the rest to be very surprised what then follows?
Oh, man. Oh, okay. Where do I start, Michael?
With Abu Baruel.
Okay, so sitting on the shores of Lake Lucerne. Oh, Lake Lucerne.
Lucerne. That's Switzerland. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's Switzerland. Really?
Yes.
So like Lucifer. Lake Lucifer. Okay. All right. Mary had been introduced. Yeah, we're speaking Mary Shelley, right?
Yes.
Introduced to one of Shelley's favorite books. That's her husband's favorite books.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So one of her husband's favorite books, the Abbé Birrell's Memoirs, illustrating the history of Jacobinism. Oh my. Boy, are we going into a bottomless pit here. Okay, 1797 through 1798. Here, Birrell traced the birth of the, quote, monster called Jacobin, unquote, to the secret society of the Illuminati. Oh, we're talking about the one founded by Adam Weishaupt, the
yes, at the age of 24, yes,
student of Ingolstadt,
yes,
or no? Ingolstadt is where Mary decided to send Vicar Frankenstein to university. Ingolstadt is where he animates his creature in circumstances and with methods similar to those by Dippel, journeying from Lucerne along the Rhine. Mary's disgusted comments on their fellow travelers had included this comment, quote, "'Twere easier for God to make eternity new men."
Entirely.
Entirely new men. Than attempt to purify such monsters as these. Loathsome creepers, my italics. The lowercase g here demotes God to a level of a man who assumes godlike powers, a Promethean overreacher. And so, following, okay, is that enough?
Yeah, I think, and so following closely on each other, we have a setting for Frankenstein's experiment, the hint of a newly created man of human manufacture, and the tale of Conrad Dibbel's attempt to bring the dead to life. Yeah, but what else to say? You see that Adam Weishaupt was a professor of the Roman Catholic Church, a Jesuit in disguise. Yeah, and to put the heat of the Jesuits, he founded on the 1st May of 1776, so Beltane, yeah, so the Walpurgis night, the night of the witches. Yeah, he founded the Order of the Illuminati as a totally distraction from the Jesuits. Right. In Ingolstadt, you know what famous car manufacturer is residing in Ingolstadt?
No.
It has a Latin name. It's called Audi.
Oh, man. Are you
Audi
serious?
Yes, Audi is the Latin equivalent of the German manufacturer Horch. Yeah, Horch means here, so as an order, yeah. So here, yeah, that means Horch. Horch was one of the companies in Germany, and later it was the Auto Union, and then the Audi NSU, and also the stuff. So Audi is Latin for Horch. Yeah, or here.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, of course. Audio, all that. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly, yes. Audi Wikipedia, yeah. You know now what the favorite car of the Jesuits would be in Germany is Audi, because Ingolstadt is also, of course, a university of the Jesuits. German. The original are complex, going back to the 20th century. Of the initial enterprises, Horch. Yeah, so Horch means to hear. Founded by the engineer August Horch and two other manufacturers, DKW and Wanderer, leading to the foundation of Auto Union in 1932. Yeah, therefore you got all these rings of the former separate car manufacturers all together at the Audi. Yeah. Horch, meaning listen, becomes Audi in Latin. The four rings of the Audi logo each represent one of the four car companies that banded together to create Audi's predecessor company, Auto Union, being ahead through technology. Yeah, but this is hilarious here, huh? A monster called Jacobin and the secret society as the Illuminati at Ingolstadt. Ingolstadt is where Mary decided to send her fictional character. Don't forget to mention the Baron, B-A-R-O-N, Victor Frankenstein, to the university. My. in Ingolstadt. What a coincidence, huh? Mary Shelley.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Shelley. She was not a German. Yeah. She was born in Somerstown in London. Yeah,
Oh.
she comes up with Victor Frankenstein in Ingolstadt. Oh. Of course, in 1818 or 1816, when she wrote that novel, the Illuminati were long gone. But nevertheless, you see that to make entirely new man Ingolstadt. What else to say? I think that it's quite a find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sure is. No doubt about that.
Abbé Barouet. Yeah.
Man. Incredible.
Incredible, huh?
Well,
nothing new under the sun.
No, that's right.
Mm-hmm. In the Code Realized visual novel series, the protagonist Cardia Beckford is a homunculus created by the genius alchemist Isaac Beckford. What a coincidence. I was just trying to say Isaac Newton.
Isaac Beckford.
Yeah. Human cloning, yeah. They actually did officially they claim they have cloned a cow, huh? Yeah. But you see that is technology, this is progress, this is science. Yeah. An avatar in which the human brain is transplanted at the end of one's life. Aha! So you can what else? What was it? You shall not surely die?
Mm-hmm.
An avatar with the artificial brain in which a human personality is transferred at the end of one's life. And then a hologram-like avatar, so you can live on, so that everybody says, oh, I would like to see my deceased daughter again, and then she will appear, patch, at the end of your bedroom, Brad.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, don't laugh. It's really not to laugh. Yeah, AI took over big parts of our job. World Economy Forum, Agenda for 2030, yeah. You see, they are also trying to scare you, huh? Don't believe anything that
It's all about the biblical verse that says, the fear of man bringeth a snare.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yes. Too much technology. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
DARPA want to develop injectable bidirectional brain-computer interface. Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere, and we are fighting like David against Goliath. But you see that David won.
Right.
He won. Why did he win? Not because of his spear. He was not using a spear, of course. This is wrong here.
A sling.
He was using a sling, but it was not the sling which did the harm. It was God's command, God's will that did it so. Yeah. So we are at the mercy of God, and no one can help us except God.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah? So when they will come up with all this progress and science, and you got a new friend, you must stay inside, of course, stay at home, stay safe. Yeah, but you can have a robot friend because, of course, he doesn't breathe, and so he therefore, he can't have any diseases. Wow.
Yeah, but that's not to belittle the skill of David, because he was a farmer and he was taking care of the flock, and he was very good with his sling, with the wolves and the prey that would come to feed on the sheep. He would take care of that. He was very skillful with his weapon, no doubt.
Brad, that was a wrong picture. You see that I did that copy paste. It was not attributed to David and Goliath. It just
but
it just maybe also the mortal man against some creature. Yeah, let's put it in the Frankenstein context.
That's where we're at today, though. This is a very modern depiction of where we're at today.
Yes,
where we as men come against the beast.
Or the monstrance.
The same thing.
The monstrance, yes. Mm-hmm.
Sure. You know, the doctrines of the universal church that's been created. Yeah. They're trying to bring all the world's religions together at this moment. What do you expect is going to happen? Yeah,
you expect the worst and be not surprised when they will present you their own Satan's creation. You see, what else to say but Metropolis, Berlin, and Mariah and a robot?
Yeah, that's right.
That's 100 years later.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's the same context. You see that will save you in the end, because you will not get ill, because you got the pretty robot Maria taking part in your daily life, coming out of the bishop's seat in Metropolis. Yeah, and you see that even they are very honest into telling you where the real origin is, or the source, or the power behind the robot Maria. It's depicted here in that movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like Gary Newman would say, when I met a friend called Five.
Right.
So that is your best friend. You can tell him anything and he will store anything on his hard disk drive. Oh my. Yeah, and there will be love robots also, so you don't need to have a partner, and you see that you will avoid any offspring. Isn't that something? You can have fun your entire day. Yeah,
This is not entirely.
It has to be 180 degrees against the Bible.
Right, exactly.
Against God's commandments. But that's what they all do. You see that you only have to compare. I was doing a session about it, and we have done a session about it. You only have to compare what they are getting. They are so-called Nobel prizes. That's not Nobel, but it was the inventor of dynamite. Yeah, in chemistry. And then you see that development of bioorthogonal chemistry, development of this and that, and what was it here? A method of genome editing, evolution of enzymes, displays of peptides and antibodies.
I think what you're proving, Michael, is that alchemy is a highly rewarded science today, but we just don't recognize it as that because we haven't been trained to see it that way, have we?
No, but the problem is that people believe everything they've been seeing on television, although they cannot prove a thing. You have to believe everything because you don't have the tools, you don't have the experience, you're not an expert. Yeah, so you have to believe these men in white. Yeah, so that they are really demigods. Demigods. And it's just only chemistry. Yeah, we can do it much more worse. Yeah, we can go into this. I have prepared it also in medicine. And you got biology, as you will see where it all leads to. You will see where it all leads to. The 2022 discoveries concerning the genomes of extinct hominids and human evolution. For discoveries of receptors for temperature and touch. For discovery of the hepatitis C virus. Discovery how cells sense and adapt to oxygen availability. Cancer therapy. Yeah, they will come up with so many cancer therapies, and I think that nothing of that will be natural. I have forgotten something. Nobel Prize Biology. So. Oh, that's the same with medicine. Okay, I did not know that. Is it? Biology. Oh, it's called medicine for physiology. Okay. Why there is no Nobel Prize for biology? Okay. Back to the script. Futurism. Kurzweil. By 2030, nanobots will flow throughout our bodies. Sure. Not through mine, I can tell you. Yeah. And if you ask then an official robot, she would tell you, and when that happens, it may decide that humans are no longer necessary. Because they are imperfect. They can get ill, they can get old, they can get weak. Maybe they have another opinion as the official. But it's just all about that there is a savior, and the most recent savior to me is Elon Musk.
That's laughable.
They are selling him as a savior. Of course, he's the controlled opposition playing here. Yeah, he says You could probably stop aging, reverse if you want. Bible once again. Bible once again. Genesis 3. Stop aging. What was it? Brett?
Yeah, that's right. The first lie. And the serpent said, yes. Yeah, this is Genesis chapter 3, verse 4.
Yes.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die.
Yeah. You could probably stop aging, reverse if you want. Yeah. You shall not surely die. We can prolong your life. Sign here. My. One of the biggest dreams of transhumanism is to extend our life expectancy by replacing our organs with artificial ones, modifying your genome, or using nanorobots.
Yes.
2030, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Where to start? You can do your own research, but as far as I'm concerned, I know where it leads to. It leads to as in the days of Noah. Elon Musk, who decided to name his child XAEAX12, I guess we should start with the definition of transhumanism. It began 70 years ago. It was developed right after World War II. It was then when UNESCO was found, oh my, by the papacy, by the way. The organization was headed by Julian Huxley, Aldous' brother, brave new word, with the Soma drug, who coined the term transhumanism. The goal of transhumanism is to ensure our physical and mental well-being, which can be achieved by shaping our body and mind with biotechnology intervention. In the transhumanism discourse, the body is also conceptualized in the concept of sexuality. If we're not happy about it, we should have the right to change it. Yeah, 60 genders. Transhumanism enthusiasts include many transgender people, etc., etc. Our biggest dreams of transhumanism is to extend our life expectancy by replacing our organs with artificial ones. It's not only about improving our body, but also enhancing our cognitive capacities. It's a project of a new, better human. Guess Gary Newman. The fact that Elon Musk named his child... Newmanoid. The fact that Elon Musk named his child the way he did is very characteristic for transhumanism. Transhumanists believe that we shouldn't inherit names from our ancestors because they are relics of the culture which has failed and must be rejected.
Wait a second. Transhumanists. I had to say it.
The idea of making better humans and improving the evolution has been... evolution, haha, what a joke. Has been with humans since the beginning of mankind. With the development of medicine and hygiene and with better economic conditions, our life expectancy has doubled over the last century. Yeah, because of all the wars, people. Yeah, there are also people who were getting 6, 70, 80, 90 years old in the Middle Ages, but what do I know? You see that you are just relying here on your silly statistics and all your controlled media and books and school books. So what do we know? Actually, we believe, but do we know anything? The success of SpaceX and the dreams of colonizing Mars are part of the transhuman transcosmism. And yet we cannot escape from death, diseases, and suffering. Is transhumanism a sort of a new religion that gives us hope? Oh, good question. Let us not forget that Huxley thought about transhumanism as salvation for the whole mankind. And he said it after the Holocaust in times of lost hopes and silent God, which resulted in spiritual moral emptiness. Transhumanism offers a vision of an eternal kingdom here on earth. Ha ha ha! That's spot on, huh? It's Satan's eternal kingdom here on earth.
Right.
That's what's all about.
The lake of fire, yeah.
Yeah, the lake of fire. A kingdom we can build ourselves with science. A kingdom we can build ourselves with science. A kingdom that we can build ourselves with science. You have to read it and you have to tell it a certain times and maybe then you believe it. But that means a kingdom that we can build ourselves with science means ye shall be as gods.
Oh, and pride.
Yeah.
We can only be proud of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ray Kurzweil,
my.
Google's Director of Engineering. Dalai Lama, the patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church. Oh, what a coincidence. Oh, Dalai Lama, all this CIA agent. My. Black Mirror, yes, Black Mirror. It's the dark side, huh? Fantastic project of capitalism and global cultural industry aiming at colonizing broad markets. Yeah. The youth are being accustomed to the artificial by modifying their image in social media, wearable technology, conversations with bots, or living in the body of an avatar, for example, in computer games. Oh, isn't that great? Isn't that great? It is so devastating. I can't read at all. You see, that is, you can look it up for yourself. But it's just a counterfeit creation of Satan. That's what it actually is. Yeah?
You know, this article may as well be ABS. And you can fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, a robot
it's
called...
all BS.
Yeah, it's a robot called Sophia. Sophia means wisdom.
Yeah, impact. I'll give you a sucker punch. Take that, robot. Oh, man. ABS.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what we are expecting here. Back to the script.
Man.
The children of Elon Musk. Was for free speech, of course, yeah. Damien. Oh, it's also a very strange name. Saxon Xavier. Francis Xavier.
Oh, another name, huh? Yeah, Xavier, huh?
Yeah, Xavier, yeah.
Francis Xavier, is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
The first, the co-founder of the Jesuit order, yeah.
Yeah.
Whom Pope Francis has taken his name after, by the way. That's official.
Not in the open. In the open, he says it's Francis from Assisi.
Yeah, in the open, right. Yeah, Francis of Assisi. But esoterically, he says, oh, yeah, it's Francis Xavier.
Yeah, so this is a transhumanist baby. Of course, that's the name of that baby. Elon Musk and the Canadian singer Grimes, that means dirt, shocked the world with their bizarre choice of name for their baby. Baby means Babylon, by the way. My humble opinion. And I found an interesting picture of the woman, of the mother, the cultured artist formerly known as Grimes. And look what a kind of book she's reading. Enlarge it, okay?
Oh, wow. That's that song that was sung. There's a song called "Satan is Real." Did you know that?
No.
That might be the artwork she's using there. Or
yeah, but she's reading a book called
book.
"Satan is Real."
Yeah, but the artwork is probably from this from this artist that came up with this song called "Satan is Real." From back in, I don't know, 50s, 60s, something like that. But anyway, yeah. One of my friends from Texas sent me that years ago, and it was interesting. I never heard of that song before, but yeah, go look it up. I don't know who it's by. I could look it up here, actually, and get back to you.
Yeah, she's a cultured artist formerly known as Grimes, and that reminds me of Prince when he says the artist formerly known as Prince. And Prince also was, you know what he was, Satanist. So SpaceX found a mass.
Yeah, it's an album by the Leuven brothers. Look it up. It's the artwork is taken straight off that for that book, by the way.
Okay, so
then, it's a total ripoff.
Tell me how it's spelled.
Satan is Real. Song. All you just do is you find out that artwork is straight. Yeah, Leuven Brothers. There it is. Straight off that album. There you go.
Yeah, okay. But okay. but they're not reading that book. That is just a homage of them. Okay, I see. Yeah, but anyway, you see there her mindset on that movie, on that picture.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You see
That's
her
why
mindset.
that took me for a little bit of a shocker. I was like, wait a second, I've seen this image before. So it could be that that's just a distraction, Michael.
Yeah. So this is Mr. Elon Musk. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You see that they're all the same, actually. Yeah, they're all into transhumanism, be it Elon Musk, be it Yuval Harari, who says Homo Deus means man is God. He shall be as gods. Yeah. And this is Elon Musk, of course, with a mask. Elon Musk with a mask. Yeah. And what's that? Occupy Mars? Interesting. Mars is the Roman god of war.
Right. There you
Yeah. He's on a war out of Rome. So the pair originally had named their child XA blah 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 blah, have to alter the name in accordance with Californian state laws. And then they came up with the Roman numerals. Oh, Roman numerals. Interesting. Huh? What a coincidence. Roman numerals, the mother said, looks better, to be honest. The boy is Musk 7 son. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and that's Mr. Elon Musk. Or Elon the Mask. And right next to him is the one who's directing Mr. Musk.
That's right.
Yeah?
The Jesuit.
Yeah. Of course. You see that it's all the same. And this individual you can also maybe recognize. That's the alleged founder of Facebook, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg in German means sugar mountain in English, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I have not researched him, but I think it's quite obvious that all these people, and this is coming from Adrian once again, kings of the earth had committed fornication with the whore of Babylon, so the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. Yeah, you see that Elon Musk is not rich by accident, and Mark Zuckerberg is also not rich by accident, and Bill Gates is not rich by accident. You see that these people are making it in the world, and these people have all the power and the glory that Satan offered them. So it's quite clear that all the people who have really big companies, yeah, they're all of the Satan mindset or Luciferian mindset. Elon Musk, your role model of Tesla. Yeah. Also, Tesla is a ripoff because originally Nikola Tesla is an inventor and wanted to more or less serve people. And what these people are doing here, ask yourself where Elon Musk had all the money from, and Elon Musk has the power and technology, all the fun to come in an instant out with electric vehicles. Come on. It's not hard, huh? So they're all on a transhumanist agenda against the orders of God, be fruitful and multiply. Yeah, because they want to bring out a new world order. It's no secret, you see, that even George Herbert Walker Bush said it in 1991 already. Yeah, so it's an old concept. It's a new world order means the old order from the Pope. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah, so Holy Father Francis to Professor Klaus Schwab, you see that these people are all connected.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, you see that these people are just promoting the transhumanism thing. Yeah. AE in that letter allegedly refers to the spelling of artificial intelligence and means also love in Japanese. Yeah. I see that transhumanist church of Ray Kurzweil. This is Google. This is Google. Ray Kurzweil. Google transhumanist church God program. Yeah. Become like God. Yeah. You have to read the Bible. You have to read the Bible. You have to read the Bible. It's always the same. Transhumanist church, yeah, you can name it as you wish. Elon Musk, David Icke, controlled opposition. Fabian H.G. Wells, the time machine announced the word brain. Global Village, Tavistock, Stanford, it's all the same. Usual suspects. Steve Jobs, Apple, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. You see, this is just a...
Well, you know what the Bible tells us in the book of Revelation is that the beast is ascending out of the bottomless pit. So this just seems like, straight out of the bottomless pit, doesn't it? All this stuff? It's not of God.
No.
No, it's of Satan.
Yeah, you have to read the Bible.
Right.
Yeah. So these people, Pierre Tyler de Chardin, French Jesuit priest, Science Church, Darwinism, New Age, and all this stuff. He's just a fraud. Yeah. He tried to. He's part of the. What was that hoax? Piltdown Man hoax, where they came up with that false skeleton.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Jesuits everywhere. Georgetown, Jesuitical script. Not the Omen. What is it now?
Oh yeah, the Exorcist.
The Exorcist, yes. Yeah, the same Jesuit who wrote that script from The Exorcist that wrote that script of The Shot in the Dark with the Kennedy killing. Yeah, so they have to turn everything around. That's quite simple here from the symbolism here. And they are fighting a Babylonian demon. Pazuzu. Yeah, the Babylonians, where baby is coming from. You have a new baby. Yes, you have a new citizen of Babylon. My.
Instead of calling your offspring children, right? The child.
Yes.
That's a biblical way of talking about, your offspring.
So this is just the future. So that's all clean and with good hygiene and will never get ill. These are robots. This is human 2.0 in the end. Yeah, to get rid of all that uses eaters or what. A12 can also refer to the SL-17 plane called a Blackbird. Blackbird, of course. You know what it means. She has a song called Archangel, her favorite song, Angel Baby, also Angel Babylon. Yeah, so it's very easy. It's very easy. Yeah, so they will come up with metaverse, not Miata, but metaverse from Zuckerberg. They will come up with the Internet of Things. That's Satan's counterfeit creation. It's nothing less. The Internet. Satan's counterfeit creation, the artificial word. Don't talk with your parents, don't talk with your friends, just be on the Internet. Yeah, so this is the happy family of Elon Musk, and you can't tell if that is all his children. He's into transhumanism. Maybe it's just... I'm not going any further. He says, it's an attribution of him, I can't prove it. He says, quote unquote, with artificial intelligence we are summoning the demon. You know all these stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Doesn't work out. Yeah. MIT could be the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I just found that. I can't tell you. But I can tell you that I can insert here something which I cannot translate because it's in French. And it's French with German subtitles. But he's speaking about chips who can be implanted. And I have prepared that. So it's in French with German subtitles. So that means I will try to play it here. And I will try to translate it one-to-one in English, okay? At the end, we talk about chips who can be implanted. When would that be? He says most probably in 10 years. That interview is coming officially from January in 2016.
Right.
First of all, we will implant them in the clothing. And then we can try to think of to plant him inside our brains or under the skin.
s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans nos cerveaux ou dans nos topos. Et à la fin,
And at the end, we can have a direct communication between our brain and the digital world. We see a fusion between the physical, digital, and the biological world. If we want to call somebody, we do not need a phone. It just happens automatically. The technique is erweitern. Erweitern. Enhancing. What is it? The technique is enhancing the body. Yeah. You're mobile and you say, I want to be connected with this or with these. And in the beginning you will have personalized bots. Mark Zuckerberg, we're speaking about the Facebook owner, he says he would have at the end of the year his own robot. A personalized butler at his demand. So we will have our own personal robots like a slave. He said yes, but with one difference. He's a servant who is learning with artificial intelligence. And he's not only an assistant for usual works, but also intellectual partner. Yeah, so that's the interview I wanted to share. So I do not know what is gibberish here or what is really their plan, because I think their real plans, they would not tell it in the open. Yeah?
Of course not.
Maybe that's also part of the agenda to fear people. And you say, oh, I found something. You know, you see that maybe this is also a programmation into believing they are sending you on the wrong highway. You see, they are sending you on the wrong highway. They try to convince you that this transhumanism thing is to improve the people and to improve their health. Yeah, what they don't tell you is that it has something to do with God or the Holy Spirit. Yeah, that they will avoid at any cost. And so I think that's the real thing. That's what they don't tell you that is important, not what they tell you. Yeah, so becoming an avatar. Avatar is an epic science fiction film directed and produced and edited by James Cameron. Avatar means a descent of a Hindu deity to Earth in an incarnate or tangible form. That's what avatar actually means. So it's all about religion. So this development of an Avatar movie began in 1994 when Mr. Cameron directed the movie Titanic from the Titans. So it's no wonder that that movie went so hilariously successful when it is about the ancient Titans or the Titanic. Speaking about the Avatar movie of James Cameron, he made also Terminator 2 with transhumanism with Arnold Schwarzenegger, by the way. It is said that Avatar movie in the 22nd century bred when humans are colonizing Pandora, a lush habitable moon of a gas giant in the Alpha Centauri star system, in order to mine the valuable mineral unobtainium. You see, Pandora's box, Pandora, Avatar, is an artifact in Greek mythology connected with the myth of Pandora and Hesiod, works and days. Curiosity led her to open a container left in the care of her husband, thus releasing curses upon mankind. Yeah, Pandora, what a coincidence. So, Pandora's box. The container mentioned in the original account was actually a large storage jar, but the word was later mistranslated. In modern times, an idiom has been grown from the story meaning any source of great and unexpected trouble, or alternatively, a present which seems valuable but which is in reality is a curse. And that's the same with transhumanism. Yeah. Main article Pandora. According to Hesiod, when Prometheus stole fire from heaven, Zeus. Yeah. See what they're all coming up to? It's all a big agenda. They all work together. According to Hesiod, the poet, when Prometheus stole fire from heaven, Zeus, took vengeance by presenting Pandora to Prometheus' brothers Epimetheus. Pandora opened a jar left in her care containing sickness, death, and many other unspecified evils which they will release to the world. And that's what they are up to. That's what they're up to. I know that's only mythology here, but wait. From this story has grown the idiom to open a Pandora's box, meaning to do or start something that will cause many unforeseen problems. A modern, more colloquial equivalent is to open a can of worms. And that's what they did with the C19 thing. Open Pandora's box. Him again. You see, if somebody is really honest, then he will get rid of, getting rid of. Yeah? He was dying in the same day, August 7, 1814, Jesuits. When the Jesuits were restored on the August 7, 1814, the Society of Jesus, and that's the same day when Carrie Mullis died. So back to Elon Musk. Elon Musk's latest child became his seventh son, but his first sadly passed away. Brad, alarm bell. You see the alarm bell here? Either it's fraud or it has been sacrificed.
Oh, really?
Your firstborn. His firstborn. Yeah. All boys, but sadly one died as a baby. Okay. His first sadly passed away. You have to believe it. Nevada Alexander Musk suffered from sudden infant death syndrome, seeing the young pass away as just 10 weeks old. Okay, you have to believe it, and I would not recommend anybody to believe anything about Elon Musk. Yeah, especially not when he's in line with the doctrine of devils from the papacy. Yeah, you see, in biblical times, the firstborn was given certain unique rights. In the Old Testament, firstborn humans and animals were considered sacred to God. After God rescued Israel from slavery in Egypt, he commanded the people to consecrate every firstborn male human and firstborn animal to him.
Oh yeah, that's the tradition, isn't it? That the firstborn is the one to inherit the father's inheritance.
Yeah, but also every firstborn male...
The family inheritance.
Yeah, but firstborn male human, and that is the case in the case of Elon Musk. Not saying that it is, so I can't prove it, but you see that is so obvious when the firstborn is the one who shall be then sacrificed. The firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give unto me. Exodus 22. Exodus, what's happening here? Exodus 22 means it's after the Ten Commandments. And remember, baron is a member of nobility and can also mean that he was used as a mercenary, a military leader, a warrior. In the most famous monster story of the bird Frankenstein, its medical student creates an artificial human, and that is alchemy. That is not only alchemy, but that is human 2.0. Yeah, so there is transhumanism here. So that is it's coming to fruition now. David Peter Gamble is a committed cryonist. He wants to freeze after his death. What is forbidden in Germany is already reality in the USA. Frozen bodies wait there in nitrogen tanks to be resurrected. But is the prospect of life after death realistic or just a fantasy, Brad?
Yeah. I would say the latter.
We can laugh about it, yes, we can laugh about it, but they mean that seriously. This is
of course they do.
This is the website, preserving life.
Yeah, whatever.
Pausing the dying process. The definitions of death change over time as medical understanding and technology improve. Someone who have been declared dead decades ago may still have a chance today. Death used to be when a person's heart stopped, then when their heart couldn't be restarted, and is now being extended further. Modern science, cryonic sounds like science fiction, but it's based on modern science. so-called. Life can be stopped and restarted if its basic structures can be preserved. Vitrification can preserve biological structures as well, etc. Cryonics within reach, yeah, so you end up here being frozen. Trusted by leaders in technology, biomedicine, and futurism. Oh, Brett!
Well, you know what futurism is. It's not only a doctrinal problem. It's what's considered a literary movement, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, of course, they're going to adhere to stuff like this. I mean, this is the spirit of Antichrist, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You shall be as gods, you shall not surely die.
Right.
You shall not surely die. They will take that the next step with their science.
That's right. Right. And they'll spend all their money doing it, too.
Yeah, you can imagine that among these patients, maybe a certain Mr. Rockefeller is among them. It's unbelievable, huh?
What's that quote say again? You just had it?
Sorry?
There was right there. At the point where the current legal and medical system gives up on a patient, they aren't really dead, unquote. Okay.
Isn't it something?
Yeah. What is death? Yeah.
My, what a world, what a world. Yeah, shall we read an interview with the android Erica? I don't think so. Human likes robots, androids. The stated model Erica. Not only does she look like a young woman, but she can even communicate with her builders using artificial intelligence. I think there is no thing than artificial intelligence. It has been pre-programmed. And then been downloaded in a certain context. In case, look at history, shows that medical progress has brought almost as much bad as good. Influenza Beiza Mokka, for example, leads an almost normal life today. That is not matter of course. As a result of serious illnesses, she lost both arms and legs. Today she wears futuristic prosthesis and calls herself Robogirl. So can fluid borders between science and nature be an enrichment for people? Or is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein a serious warning as technology continues to eclipse human life? On a German Focus magazine, it says there is a certain scientist called O.Fr de Grey, so the grey one. Grey means ill. This man would like to make us immortal. What does the Bible tell us about our life?
Matthew 10:37, he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more is not worthy of me. Keep going.
Yeah.
And he that taketh not his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. And he that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
So much for immortality.
That's right.
There's only one way, and this is John 14:6. Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life, and no one comes or gets to the Father but by me. And not with their cryonics, freezing and all that stuff. What a world. So, everybody who tries to find it or to preserve his life shall lose it. And isn't that the same situation with this situation of these V's? Are they also in for to protect and serve the people, to extend their life and to have a better life? It's the same principle of their pharmakeia. So Stanley Plotkin, again, has been questioned with how many fetuses has he worked on, and he can't tell. But then he was the accuser, then, or the court came up with the number of over 70, only in one experiment. So they experimented with dead bodies, with dead children. But to work with dead children, or cadavers, Brett, can we say cadavers?
Sure.
Remains, yeah, that needs life in the first place. So they had to kill embryos, fetuses, to extract organs and tissues and all that horrible stuff out there. And they were studying them. And this is true. He spoke about it. He spoke about it. Yeah, only one study has 76. 76. That's for the development of their so-called medicine. Yeah, dead bodies floating around. And then he says that the Catholic Church has issued a document which stated that individuals who need this kind of treatment of medicine, yeah, shall have it. Despite the fact that I think that it implies that I'm the individual who goes to hell. Zur Hölle fahren wird. Huh? So they know what they are doing, but they do it because they love. All that they hate me, love death, the Bible says. Or God says. All that they hate me, love death. My. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I did not know that. They issued a document. Yeah. I'm the individual who will go to hell. Sure. They all participate in this life. They love this life. That's all they got. And that's all what's left. Yeah. So they're all in for the money. Genetic scissors, a tool for rewriting the code of life. Does it get more blasphemous than that? Note the keynote speaker's credentials, the elite, the Global Leaders Conference, the code Programming Our Future for Good. Keynote speakers are David Ferguson, the author of the Transhuman Code, and Carlos Moreira, the same author of the same, or the author of the same book. Programming the Transhuman Code, 2021. So what shall I have a kind of a conclusion? That they are working on transhumanism. It's happening in the Vatican, it's not happening in the Philippines.
Yeah, and it's not only the Vatican, it's the Global Leaders Conference.
Yeah, they're mocking God in the open. God's creation is imperfect. He needs a glove.
Oh yeah, we need sovereigns too, Michael.
Yes.
Yeah. How pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jungle Book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do I expect from a kind of a company when you're in a company of the serpent? Either in a serpent church here with the Pope Paul VI audience hall with the snake and snake fangs and all the stuff, and Mowgli, the Jungle Book. Trust me. Trust the science. Yeah. Don't trust that forked tongue. Don't trust it. Ye shall be as gods, and ye shall not surely die. So these are the two key elements from the transhumanist agenda. That's it in a nutshell. We have 50 pages left. I have to look up what it is. Oh. Turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA. Ah. Mr. Elon Musk, yeah. Everything will be digital. Nanotechnology, biosensor, predictive processing, human cyborgs, what else? Yeah? But it's just a distraction also, because I think they're not attacking the body, but the mind. Satan wants worship. That's what he wants in Luke 4:4 and Matthew 4. He wants worship. So it has something to do with your mind, the temple of God. You see that the brain, there is an area of the brain that's got the temple. In Forbidden Science 4 of Jacques Vallée, he says there was thinking in the Kennedy era that they would paint the second coming of Christ over the island of Cuba using holograms to emerge a riot among the Catholic population there. So if they are thinking about using holograms 60 years ago, I don't know what kind of possibilities they got with their modern science. Yeah. Because that's what I found here from Dr. Stephen Greer, CE5 contact, 5. Yeah, you see that's the same with Gary Newman, humanoid, a friend called 5, yeah, so pentagram, Satan, CE5, yeah, get in touch with the spiritual bodies. CE5 seeking contact to the sky. CE5 contact application. Oh, that there will be so many things, yeah. Or not Genesis, but All Genesis, where the husband of the president of the European Union is working. All Genesis is a biotechnical factory of the potential of cell and gene therapy. Ah, there it is. Ah, that's the guy, Heiko van der Leyen, medical director at All Genesis. Yeah, not Ursula von der Leyen, but Heiko van der Leyen. And they secured a $50 million deal to grow cell therapy and gene therapy. And therefore they have to get rid of all the criticism, or so-called fake news in their side, to get rid of all these so-called fake news. So that is only one opinion. The pharmaceutical company Merck created a hit list to destroy, neutralize or discredit dissenting doctors and scientists and people who want to know the truth. Yeah, so it's all a big agenda, taking part on the control, with the control of the Vatican, CO2 emissions and all that stuff. Yeah, you have to get rid of services, of energy, of CO2, or you have to get rid of people, simply. Simply. But CO2 isn't a problem. I hope I have, I have translated here. CO2 is not the problem, certainly not the human being to blame for this life-building block. Without CO2, no life is possible. Anyone who rails against CO2 rails against life itself. That's spot on. 0.038% carbon dioxide are evenly distributed in the air of the terrestrial atmosphere, distributed not as a dense layer like a pandit, of which 96% occur naturally, only 4% are man-made artificially. 4% of 0.038% is 0.00152%. Of these 0.00152%, 3.1% come from Germany. 3.1% of 0.00152% is 0.0000471%. Suppose Germany would reduce CO2 emissions completely, that is down to 0. That means abolition of all life, including plant life. Got it? It would just have an effect of 0.0004712% of the composition of the air on Earth. So the destruction of life should be the goal. There is some reading about it in a very old book, which is mostly black, because there is a certain hatred for life and people. What book could that be? So this Bill Gates, one of the richest people in the world, we have to believe it, of course, in the anti-Christian satanic agenda. Bill Gates says to have to get pretty near to 0. Now that's back from high school algebra. If we do a really great jobs on new PPP healthcare and reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. Yeah. So that is the opposite of the Bible, God's commands, be fruitful and multiply. Yeah. It's a wrong foundation, because you see that is not a problem. Because CO2 most likely emerged from sun radiation and not from man. You see, the air that we are dissipating here from the earth is just there is just heat coming in from the sun in the first place. Yeah, CO2 is warming the planet, and the equation on CO2. The problem is that CO2 is being used and needed for the growing of plants. And so if you want to reduce CO2 to zero, you want to have to get rid of all the plants. It's simply then a desert. And
well, again, Michael, all they're doing is they're lying to us, obviously, about the science and wanting us to comply with their strategy. And as long as we say, oh, yes, you're correct, then they win.
They get your money with all these CO2 funds and taxes and all that stuff.
Taxes, of course. It's all about the taxes, man.
Yeah, and it's not about taking out of context. He said that we can lower that of 10 to 15%. If it is about lesser birth and all the stuff, you see that it is against God's commandments, be fruitful and multiply. And there's enough food and place and shelter for all the people in the world. If there would not be high cities, density cities, and if Africa would have a chance to have a stabilized agricultural areas and all the stuff, but they do not want that because they're only in for the money. It's against the Bible, that is fact. He has said that improving public health using these can reduce unsustainable population growth in the future. Yeah, that is against the Bible. So that must be a lie. It's population control. He's into eugenics. Everybody knows that. Huh? Even Melissa, his allegedly wife, that is one of the rare cases, Brad, that I am not convinced that she is a wife. I would not be certain, because they're into transhumanism. I do not know what's up to, but I would not be surprised. The world does not need is more children, she says. Children and women will just keep overpopulating the world. You see, she is God, huh? She says that the God of the Old Testament is wrong, Brad.
Of course.
And she is God. Keeping all the population numbers across the globe, in fact, the population rates, this is all the problem. Yeah, you see, this is you can.
Who is this again?
What? Sorry?
Are you talking Melinda Gates?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, well. Weren't we thinking that she's a he?
Among all the peoples that I came across, I think that she reminds me more of a Supertramp singer than anybody else.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, but I have a hard time imagining that this guy is able to love somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so get the rates down. This is from openverse.com. You can lie with statistics, of course. This is a statistic here of miscarriage, stillbirth by year, and it's going skyrocketing high since 2021. Just a coincidence. Mrs. Gates says, what the developing world does not need is more children. And just who are you to decide for them what they need or do not need? Yeah. My. Father God, let these wicked people drink a double portion of wrath from the cup of your indignation and judgment. Yeah. Melinda Gates should tell her daughter to not overpopulate the earth. This is horrible of her to say. God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Yeah, this is, you see, you got it here in a context. Bill Gates says, first we got population. The world today has got 6.8 billion people. That's a long time ago. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new PPP, healthcare and reproductive health services, we could lower that by 10 or 15%. And God said, Brett?
Oh, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, right.
Yeah, so it's the opposition. So you know that he's on the side of Satan.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it was Julian Huxley who coined the term transhumanism to name his vision of the future in which humankind would master nature and steer the progress of evolution towards productive ends. Oh, it's about production, so it's about money. Julian Huxley was born in the late Victorian era, a time defined by its romantic vision of rationalism and industrialization. Julian Huxley says, I believe in transhumanism. Once there are enough people who can truly say that, the human species will be on the threshold of a new kind of existence as different from ours as ours is from that of Peking man. It will at last be consciously fulfilling its real destiny. The low strata are reproducing too fast. Therefore, they must not have too easy access to relief or hospital treatment, lest the removal of the last check on natural selection should make it too easy for children to be produced or to survive. Long unemployment should be a ground for sterilization, if that is attributed correctly. Yeah, but it is a serpent once again. Yeah, it's a serpent of the so-called World Health Organization, and it's not the staff of Moses. This is not a brazen serpent here. That's Asclepios, so it's not medicine, it's pharmakeia.
Big difference.
Really, is it really a coincidence that these are the countries here where this experimental medicine is mandatory? Look at here, that's the Vatican. Vatican, Italy, Greece. Austria has gotten rid of it. Interesting, huh? Vatican.
Does it say Costa Rica, and what else is the one in South America? Ecuador. Oh, really? Ecuador.
Yeah, Malaysia, Indonesia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Micronesia. Yeah, Costa Rica only for minors, for all minors. And said to the woman, ye shall not surely die. You know that it was a lie, huh? Also, if anything occurs to the unborn, it's also killing, huh? Because it's life in the beginning. Talking about fetuses, embryos. Yeah, a tree to be desired to make one wise. Oh yeah, that's a tree which is growing in every laboratory of the doctors. Yeah. Yeah, but Adam and Eve then, when they were recognized by God, they were naked and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Because they were ashamed, Brett. Why else would you wear an apron? Isn't that so silly and so obvious that it's also depicted here together with the Bible? The big G. Oh. Yeah, so it's all about the money, and there are no 13 satanic bloodlines. Yeah, this is also one bloodline of Cain and one line of Abel.
Right.
Or one of Cain and one of Seth.
Yeah, you should color that, what was it, green? Witchcraft.
Where?
13 satanic bloodlines.
I can't. This is a picture.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
that would be fitting.
These Illuminatis, you see that most likely a small percentage of people are real Christians like us. Yeah, all the others are in satanic bloodlines without even being aware of it. When they are in the school system and they are just believing in evolution.
Every family, Michael. Yeah. It's stated in the Bible that every family has their enemy in their own household. It's just the way things work. There is going to be one side of the family that says yay and the other one that says nay.
Yeah. Look in the Bible here, in Genesis 3, God ordained a penalty for the woman. Would you care to read it?
Sure. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy and thy conception. In sorrow shalt thou, in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Yes, so thy desire, her desire shall be to thy husband. Yeah, the most desires that women I know of are just purely physical. And they wouldn't like to be independent, you see. They want to have their own money and they want to have a big job. And of course, that's a satanic agenda that they claim, that is the independence of the women. But actually what's behind this is the destruction of family and the avoiding of women having children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's also eugenics.
Mm-hmm.
I object to all punishment whatsoever. I don't want to punish anybody. But there are an extraordinary number of people whom I want to kill. Not in any unkind or personal spirit, but it must be evident to all of you, you must all know half a dozen people at least, who are no use in this world, who are more trouble than they are worth. And I think it would be a good thing to make everybody come before a properly appointed board, just as he might come before the income tax commissioners, and say every 5 years or every 7 years, just put him there and say, sir or madam, now will you be kind enough to justify your existence? If you can't justify your existence, if you're not pulling your weight in the social boat, if you're not producing as much as you consume, or perhaps a little more, then clearly we cannot use the big organization of our society for the purpose of keeping you alive, because your life does not benefit us and it can't be of very much use to you.
Yeah, so there are really only two bloodlines, or two lines, thy seed and her seed. So Satan's seed and Eve's seed. Genesis 3:15. And also the first announcement of the Savior of mankind. Bruise thy head. Yeah. So, the giants. Most likely they were involved in the construction of the pyramids, pagan goddesses, who could move gigantic blocks. And coming from Adrian once again, he says he has discovered something. Nimrod, the son of descendant of Cush, set up a kingdom in Lower Mesopotamia, which attracted the attention of surrounding nations. A primitive Babylonian kingdom is assigned to a people distinctly said to have been Cushite by blood. The people whom he led came probably by sea. At any rate, the earliest settlements were on the coast, and Ur or Hur, on the right bank of the Euphrates, at a very short distance from it, Embosher, was a primitive capital. There is little doubt but that it is in honor of his apotheosis that the constellation Orion bears in Arabian astronomy the title of El Jabbar, or the Giant. So Nimrod being the giant. Source is the 7 great monarchies of the ancient Eastern world. Huh? Another giant. Constellation Orion. Yeah? Osiris. Yeah? The head god of the Egyptian Trinity. Trinity means 1, 2, 3. Yeah, what a coincidence, huh? What a coincidence. Orion, a major constellation, a mighty hunter of great beauty and gigantic strength. In the lower world, his shade is seen by Odysseus driving the wild beasts before him as he had done on earth. After his death, he was changed into the constellation called by his name, Orion. It took the form of a warrior wearing a girdle at 3 stars and a lion's skin and carrying a club and a sword. Yeah. Popery is not a corruption simply but a transformation. It may be difficult to fix the time when it passed from the one into the other, but the change is incontestable. Popery is the gospel transubstantiated into the flesh and blood of paganism under a few of the accidents of Christianity. We can debate on that, but you think that Oh, it's so much to speak about it. So there are no coincidences. Everything is working together. These are a collection of recommended books by our beloved brother Daryl Eberhard about the things that we have talked about. It. I will very slowly, page by page, move a bit forward so that you can freeze the screen or you can copy the screen and you can read it for yourself. That is the line of books that Daryl recommends on that subject. So we have to expect something from the papacy. We have to look to the papacy to really realize what they are up to. Don't go into worldly politicians, just use the shortcut and look to the papacy, and especially look to the holy book of the Bible when you know what's really going on. It is no coincidence that our Pope Francis is coming from Argentina. This is the flag, the official symbol bread of Argentina.
Ah, yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
How revealing.
Yeah, you know who founded that country then.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So in my humble opinion, they are trying to everything to establish Satan's kingdom on this earth, and they will succeed for a very brief time. So all the things what you see in the CERN in Switzerland with the Large Hadron Collider is all, they're trying to create antimatter, they're trying to get in touch with the other side, they're trying to use portals or whatever. They will try to use that place as also ceremonial place. These people, these scientists do not know anything. He is Jesuitically trained and he says that, okay, yeah, light will transform into matter and antimatter, and they say that we have no clue why there is matter. Yeah, they don't have any clue, but they're coming up with fancy stuff, with globes and with antimatter and dark holes, and you can't believe it. Yeah, but it's just as the Bible says that it's just science so-called to actually control the people. It's to control the people. CERN 666. Yeah. You see, where to start? Where to start? Yeah, so the information we are giving out is very close to the truth when it comes to the worldly things, and absolute truth when it comes down to the Bible. Yeah, but this satanic world will label truth as misinformation, of course, because it does not fit their narrative. Yeah? They say the World Economic Forum has announced that it recruited hundreds of thousands of information warriors to control the internet, policing social media and forums for misinformation and conspiracy content, which will then be systematically shut down. According to Klaus Schwab's WEF, misinformation on the internet is an infodemic that is potentially deadly and requires a cure. The definition of misinformation, according to the WEF, is anything they disagree with. Yeah. Yeah, so this necromancy, these fallen angels and all the stuff. Occult Theocracy by Lady Queenborough says, necromancy is partly divining magic and partly operative magic. The practice consists in the evocation of the spirits of the dead. Fallen angels or spirits will often manifest to people without being called for. Occultism flourishing now in Europe, Asia and America. Guess what Mrs. Mary Shelley encountered when she was hallucinating and had panic attacks. So expect anything from the world except the truth. They will label anything according to their agenda, how it will fit their narrative. And that is the real cause in Genesis 6:11. Brad.
Yes, the earth also was corrupt before God. And the earth was filled with violence, and God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth.
Yeah, so we can also only encourage the listeners that they rely on God, that God will provide them with food, with shelter, with faith, and do not rely on any government or on any promise. Yeah, stick to the Bible and stick to the things that happened over thousands of years. Any ruler is only a ruler because he's not serving God. Otherwise, we are all brothers. And if somebody is supreme, then he's not my brother anymore. So corruption has to be taken place before the second coming of Christ. So you should not be sorry that these things are happening. You should rejoice, actually, that the time of the second coming of Christ is inevitably coming nearer and nearer. According to my humble interpretation of the Bible, Satan had 3 attempts on mankind. The first attempt was before the flood. So that is Satan's kingdom of the world, yeah, with their leaders or his ministers. Yeah, this is the dragon, the serpent, and we do not have any Chuck Norris. Come on, Brett, I thought that was a bit funny. Yeah.
Oh, this the true reason why dragons are extinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be very bad if that would be, but yeah, the dragon, the snake, called the devil and Satan, yeah, he was cast down to the earth and his angels were cast down with him. And so all the people who are serving God, they will claim themselves that they are ministers of righteousness. Yeah, but they are just ministers of the snake. Yeah, so you see that every time you see the Pope, even if it is a statue here, an idol, yeah, he's present with something occurs. Yeah, even a statue here of Pope Innocent overlooking the signing of the European Union Constitution in Rome. In Rome,
right.
Before the Second World War, also Adolf Hitler, Third Reich, and some people were trying to have a united currency and all that stuff. So that the EU idea is very old. It's very old. Yeah, so it's sorcery. It's sorcery. Would you care to read it?
Oh, sure. Revelation 18:23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
Yeah, all nations spread. United nations.
That's right.
All nations here. Pharmakeia. The use of any kind of drugs, potions or spells, poisoning, witchcraft, sorcery. Pharmakeia, the nymph of a well with poisonous powers near the river Ilissus in Attica. She is described as a playmate of Eurytia. Pharmacides, sorceresses or witches, is the name by which the Thebans designated the divinities who delayed the birth of Heracles.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So there were 3 attempts, Brett, to destroy mankind with the corruption of the flesh. The first was before the flood, Genesis 6:4. The second was after the flood, when in their sight we were at grasshoppers. Yeah, so there were also giants. So there was a second attempt, and then these giants were being killed by the command of God. And this is what we are now facing with all these mandatory things and medical experiments. In my humble opinion, that's the third attempt.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's the end of the script.
Mm-hmm. Ah, we reached it.
Can you imagine that it takes me weeks of doing everything together?
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to do that forever and ever. Just want to have a Sabbath.
That's right, Michael.
Can
that's
relax.
right. Sabbath's supposed to be a day of rest, not a day of trying to beat a dead horse, so to speak.
Yeah. Can you imagine
speaking of this
that
world system?
Can you imagine that I'm really glad that we've done now 107 sessions, and that in a moment I will pause the science sessions, because I think that we have said so much things, and this last one was about transhumanism and as in the days of Noah, and we have talked so many things. We have provided so many sources for your own research, and I hope that it can really help you as a guide towards the dark ages coming soon in the days of Noah. We hope that the Bible will give you some insight, and we hope that we can serve the Lord Almighty with these sessions. And thanks for having me, and looking forward to do some things in the future, but at the moment we have to have a little bit of rest, because I think that we have also to study the Bible and to do some more positive content in the future. So thanks again for having me. Signing off, and Maranatha, handing it over to my beloved brother Brett as usual.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, this is a very good study that we did. I'm really glad that we were able to make it to the end today. And we were starting these last 2 videos today thinking that we'd do an hour each, and here we are well into much further than we had anticipated. But the point is that Michael wanted to make this as complete as possible, to draw this picture into a full view of where we're headed, and really where the enemy wants to take us. This is not God's will where the enemy has taken us, is it? It's obviously the exact opposite. It's the will of man. We're speaking about the man of sin. We're not talking about the average Joe six-pack there that, has no clue, really. And nor would he want to. I mean, what's more interesting than Mr. Joe six-pack is what's going on the television set, right? And we rarely want to delve into that realm anymore. It's just much more appealing to look at the life of those who have real faith, that have come before us, what they have to say throughout the ages, and study history in accordance with the Bible. That's what we're about, Michael. That's what this channel is going to be hopefully, God willing, pursuing in the future, despite, all the other odds against it. And, there's only so much we can do, Michael, as individuals. And our society and, the art that's produced in these societies are actually a reflection of what is going on today. So we see it's really, dark times. It's not a very encouraging message that's getting out there, and not very encouraging themes. So a lot of discouraging themes, a lot of people giving up hope and taking their own lives because they don't see any purpose in living anymore. And that's sad. I mean, we covered that earlier in the session, that those of us that destroy the temple, we are definitely in danger of being destroyed ourselves. So we need to be encouraged as believers, don't we? We don't need discouragement. And really that's what we offer in terms of studying these things. It's to expose it. It's to make it a subject that we can grasp and put our mind to working against these things, actually, because it's God's will that should be done on earth. Not our will, but thy will be done. In thy kingdom. That's his. It's not ours. But, we have that hope that he will give us everlasting life, as he promised to do. So that's what we got to do, is we got to prepare for that moment that we are going to come to at the end of it all. And that's our hope. And certainly my thoughts and my prayers are with you, brethren, and I hope to see you in the next coming sessions, in perhaps the continuance of many of these scripts in the future. We don't know. But all we know is today that we're going to put this subject to rest for a while. And thank you, Michael, so much for bringing this message to the listeners. And it's been a pleasure to be with you along the journey. And we'll look forward to more, God willing. Hope to catch you then. Bye-bye.